Right, hello and welcome to Tribes of Midgard. So it's going to be a bit of a different one today, different from normal videos that I make. I was actually hoping on making a little series on this perhaps, or something on those lines, but it is unlikely to happen now. And instead, I'm just going to. I felt a bit frustrated with the game, and I thought, well, I'm going to do a little mini review on it because why not? So basically, this is to get things started. It is a horde defense, a survival roguelike esque game. I've been looking through a few reviews as well on Steam, and some people seem to think that it's a tower defense. It is not. You need to know the difference between a tower defense and a horde defense. It's like comparing Kingdom Rush to Call of Duty Zombies. And actually, surprisingly, the game that this is actually most like is the Firebase Z map on Call of Duty. You get into the firebase, there's a central location which is really easily defensible that you can run the zombies around, I think it's like a crashed plane or something, or if something along those lines, if I remember right. And then you go out to the different generators to power them, and then every now and then a giant zombie horde arrives, and there's a giant mega boss zombie leading them, and you have to defend a reactor which, if destroyed, ends the run. Right? Similar thing here, but with Vikings. You defend a seed of Yggdrasil. So Viking lore, that's basically the world tree that gives all living things life. And the prophecy is that Ragnarok will come, the apocalypse, where the giants will march upon Midgard and Valhalla and destroy Yggdrasil and the gods with it. It's along those lines. I might be getting some of the things wrong here. My knowledge on this is basically based off of the Viking series, God of War, and a few other things, but that's my rough understanding. So basically, we have to defend this. So the gods have had this brilliant idea. Well, what if we put some seeds of the world tree just in various places, and then the giants will have to kill all of them to stop us. And you're like a resurrected Viking warrior who's come to defend it. So that's the rough premise of it, and I'll get us into a game in a moment. But one thing that I'll point out as well with this that I'll be talking about throughout this, we have a battle pass. Why do we have a battle pass? I don't know. There's a battle pass. There's a shop with microtransactions. Why is there a shop with microtransactions? I'm not certain why there's a shop with microtransactions. There just is. Then you can customize your character. I will say, lots of different customization options, but then you get a portrait. I don't know why you choose a character portrait when it could just take a picture of your character. There's pets, but I've not seen. I think they're very rare and it's hard to actually unlock them. It's not historically accurate, I guess. You can have literally Vikings that look like they're from South Africa there. But sure, fine, I guess. It doesn't claim to be historically accurate, even though I would say that that's kind of outside of the theming of the game that they've done that. But my complaints really aren't there. Here's where my complaints have been with this game. So last night I got in a game and it was a full lobby. The second game I got in was about half full, and then ever since then, well, watch what happens. So we go to matchmaking. The game is designed around 10 players, and we can start. It looks for a game. You'd presume that it has found one at this point. It must have found a game, because the game is starting, right? It's loading. Oh, well, it's clearly found a game. I'm straight in. I've also, just to kind of prove my point here, if you look at the Steam Community Hub we've got here, 21,500 people are currently playing this right now. So there's 21,500. We've gone into matchmaking, right? That's a lot more than most online games have. And if you look at the bottom left there, matchmaking, player slots 1 of 10. Let's put me in a solo game. Yeah. I think for that rule, I think that right there, that issue, this game's dead on arrival. Not because of lack of players, because of just stupidity on the devs' parts. Why would you do this? Anyway, I'll get into the game and I'll come back to that in a moment. So, the basic gameplay loop is this. We start off. I've unlocked a few things. So I've got a basic starter kit. I have, as you can see, I've got a basic weapon, a basic shield, and I've got the very basic armor on every body part. Right? So I have the most basic gear set. That's like my starter gear. Because I've played a few times, I get starter gear. Now, normally, you would have to, and you can actually bring starter gear that gives you some starting tools, an axe and a pickaxe. Normally you'd have to go and gather branches off the ground and flint like a caveman, but if you're clever, what you can actually do is you can use your sword's ability. As you can see in the bottom left, I've got 2 more charges. It's next to the sword there. You press the Y button, triangle if you're using a PlayStation pad, and yeah, your special abilities can actually knock down the environment, which is very funny. It gets funnier though. Oh, by the way, if you just hug the environment and there's something above you, you can pick it up. So I'll pick up this flint. So normally I'd have to pick up the flint, I'd have to go and pick up the branches, but we've basically just bypassed that. We've bypassed like the first 5 minutes of the game by doing that. We go here and we craft the basic materials. We still need a bit more flint for the pickaxe. So we'll have the basic tools at this point. Right, there we go. Bit more flint. We can come here. We've now got all the basics that we need, and enough to probably survive for the first, I don't know, 2-3 days with that. We'll probably need better gear to get to like day 4 and 5, and then we'll probably die. Because, and this is something, it's designed for 10 players, and you'd think, but it's got a solo mode, and you've got, as well as a solo mode, like you could have empty lobbies like this. Yeah, so what does the game do to balance it? Absolutely nothing. Literally nothing. There is no balancing whatsoever. There's just none. The game is just completely and utterly unbalanced. I'm going to leave that tree, by the way. Certain trees, you might see these shrines as well knocking about. It's that the red ones heal you, the yellow ones make you move faster for a while, and the blue ones refill your abilities faster. But yeah, so the basic premise of the game. The giants are coming, as well as the various enemies from hell, to destroy the big tree in the centre of the village. The mini Yggdrasil tree, right? So, in a survival crafting fashion, we are charged with going, gathering a bunch of materials, going to these bandit camps, and our goal is to get enough materials to get enough upgrades to be able to defend the tree, and to fight and defeat the giants that are assaulting it. While we're doing this though, I'll get onto the combat as well here. The combat, so part of the game, as I said, it's a hack and slash survival roguelike-esque game. So that's basically how the game operates. The hack and slash elements are very basic. Like straight away, the attacks are just, it's a 3-hit combo. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. You move forward slightly while you do it, and the main problem is, like I said, so you do this 3-hit combo. That's all there is. There's no heavy attack. The only other thing you can do is that ability that I mentioned. So basically, all we've got access to is our 3-hit combo and the whirlwind move. Different weapons do have different abilities though, but that's basically all we've got access to. You can get bows. Bows are horrendous, but you can get them. They exist. That's really all I can say about them. They're awful to use. Because of that, you know, not only is it just kind of bare bones, but again, the combat feels a bit weightless, you know. It's not bad, it'll suffice. That's what I would say. The combat will suffice. It's not very, you know, it's not what you'd call good or anything. These blockades usually mean there's a new area through here. But that's kind of the combat in a nutshell. The worst bit is though, is you're not even pressing the button 3 times to do that. You can just push it and hold it. The game is almost an auto attacker. Like, the game would almost be unaffected if you were to just press the attack button once and it just kept doing this until the enemy were dead. It might as well. It may as well just do that. Because again, this is very bare bones, very simplistic. It's not a good combat system. Now, I mentioned earlier as well that we might come back to some of these trees in the evening, which we will be doing. So certain resources can only be gathered at certain areas or certain times of the day. So you can see now it's all lit up and glowing. So when we cut this down, we get, if you see on the right, evening Ronin drops. Yep. There you are, evening Rowan drops. So they are used to create higher tier gear, and they're considered to be a bit rarer due to the fact that you have to obtain them at night, which means if you want those, you have to leave the place undefended. So, yeah, and as I said, so here's the big tree. And after this attack, we'll get into some of the upgrading and defense sort of things. We'll have a bit of a look at that. But as you can see, these enemies, by the way, will literally ignore almost everyone and anything in the way on their way to the tree. They're very much hell-bent on destroying the tree and will ignore a lot of what's in the way. Right, but that's the night survived. So, if you see in the top right, we've got 976 souls. What this means now, we can do a few things with them. We can give them to the tree, and as you can see, the tree has got 4,822 health out of 10,000. And it slowly ticks down, by the way. so it's very slowly dying. You can give it souls to recover its health, but you can also go here to upgrade, and we can spend souls on upgrading these stations to get better equipment. So improved recipes are now available here, and now we've got a better lumber axe and pickaxe, which you do want to use, by the way. While I can use my ability to harvest things, better equipment yields more items. So using the proper equipment and higher tier versions of it will yield better will yield more resources. So there is a purpose to doing that. Right. But as you can see here, so the next set of armor. So we need either small bones for this or silver for that one. And it's the same because they're all the same sort of armor set. So we'll need to gather some other materials. And it will be, we'll upgrade this as well. And then we'll give our spare souls to the tree. Get it a bit healthier. So, we can make a villager sword. So we've got the villager sword Mark II now, we've upgraded a little bit. But to get a sword that's better than that, we're going to need healthing fingernails, so you get those by killing the monsters around the tree. Unsunken talismans, which are from a higher tier area. But most of what we're going to need now for the armor upgrades is in the next biome, which we have to find. The map's procedurally generated, so this really is a true roguelike. It has procedural generation, it has meta progression between runs, and yes, if you lose your run, you've lost. You start again. So it's got permanent, the game over is a permanent thing. So with that in mind, yes, this is actually a full-on proper roguelike, not just pretending to be one. But as I mentioned, now the main issue I'm finding with this is, as I've said, it doesn't scale the difficulty in any way for players, for the player size. There's no difficulty scaling at all whatsoever. And it's just one of several issues I've got with this. The player base is clearly there. It should be putting me in a game, and I have no idea why. It seems to just, when you matchmake, maybe this will be a problem that gets solved in a few days. Oh, I've got a mini boss here. Keep using my ability. Oh, let's get some heals. Got a few potions I can use. Where are they going? Wow, she just spawned them in the ocean and they're drowned. Right. This is... But another little gripe I have here with it. So, as I've noticed over there, one of the pieces of gear, well, off the side of the cliff. Now, interestingly enough, I can, if I want, grab that. Right? I can grab that. I can't walk over the edge here, but what you can do is you can dodge roll. I'll be very careful when I'm doing that. And it'll allows you to go off edges when you dodge roll. So I can dodge roll off of here to get that, but then you can't do the opposite to get back up. There isn't a jump button or a climb button to clamber up these cliffs to get back up. So I can go down but not back up. And I don't like the idea of that. And yes, you can absolutely get stuck. And the game does allow you to commit suicide on the menu if you do get stuck. But when you die, you drop all materials and all your souls. In fact, no, I think the souls straight up, they're just gone, right? It's also worth pointing out, you can't swim. There are areas on the map like this, which are basically crossings. You can tell because of the rocks there. That allows you to cross the river, but if you go in just the normal water, even though it doesn't look very deep, a normal body of water without that, and you just dodge roll into it, you'll just die. So if I were to dodge roll into that, I would instantaneously die, even though it's clearly not deep. Like, those are reeds. Reeds don't grow in like deep bodies of water. They wouldn't be poking up like that. It is clearly shallow water, very clearly, and you could probably just wade through it. I've no idea why. Anyway, because of that, it makes the map a bit maze-like and a bit difficult to navigate. There are fast travel shrines you can activate as well, so I could get back to the base here really quickly by fast travelling, but the shrines can be, because it's procedurally generated, there can be few and far between, yet sometimes I've come across areas where there's 2 or 3 next to each other. It's very, again, it's random, it's procedurally generated. It will be, it will feel as such when you're playing it. So it's kind of to be expected, but yeah, I think that they might want to change the spawning rules on the fast travel shrines. Anyway, you'll see now we'll be getting the next level, the next wave of enemies. It'll be a bit tougher. I have got to, I think, day 4 or 5 on my own. I've at one point got the boss to close to death, but not killed them yet. But yeah, the fact that it doesn't lower difficulty based on player count, or at the very least it could lower it if you went in specifically a solo game, or give you some AI companions that follow you about and hit things. Because I mean, look, they've clearly got AI that can do that. The villagers help you out here. It could give you some AI companions or something. Even if it just left them at the base, and as you upgraded your gear, it upgraded theirs. Just something to help out. Because soloing this is nigh on impossible. As you can see, as I'm trying to fight off those 2 areas, these are pushing through here. We've got another one over here now. The tree's already lost about 600 health today, roughly. There's a few of them. Use abilities. And there we go. Right. So, what I'm going to do now is I'll craft a few health potions. We used a lot on that boss, well, mini boss. And another annoying thing is it has durability on your gear. And you use souls to repair them, not the materials used to craft the gear. Why? Don't know. That's just how it is, I guess. I think we'll spend our souls on... Wow, we have 666. That doesn't bode well. And I suppose that number's only got bad connotations in Christian culture. We're in Norseland, so it's probably fine. And we'll just pour the rest into the tree, I suppose. That's the thing, you're having to keep the tree alive by spending your upgrade currency, which is a bit... Yeah, with 10 players it's not bad and you can keep it pretty healthy, and you're all obviously smacking the enemies coming at night, so it doesn't take as much damage. But against solo, all these problems just kind of... Like, what one thing impacts the next, and they all start stacking on top of each other, and you can see like the dominoes being put in place here as to how you'll inevitably collapse on the game. But oh well. Now we do have a new area down here, but this is very high up. As you can see in the top left, it does tell you, which is quite a nice feature, the expected gear that you'll require for the area. Will need 260 power gear up there, well, down there on the beach. So we need to buff ourselves up if we want to actually be able to go and take that. But in this area you only need 20 power, and so we'll probably be fine. Probably. These usually have one of those sorceress mini bosses, so we'll see what happens. You now and then get these. Oh, it's a health potion. I see. I've got the max, so guess I'll use that now. Grab the excess one. So you'll have these world events spawning as well every so often. I'll also point out as well, because the combat is so simplistic, you're probably thinking, well, why aren't I maybe blocking or dodge rolling out of the way? There's not much point. The game has... you cannot interrupt attacks with blocks or dodge rolls. So, for example, if I'm attacking, yeah, I'll press, literally I'll attack and I'll press block immediately. So we'll try it out. So attack, block, there. It doesn't do it till the end of the animation, and then it has to complete the blocking animation before it officially recognises you're blocking. You have milliseconds to respond to an enemy attack. You just cannot in any way reasonably respond to an enemy attack with a block. Not possible. There's no point. So literally blocking is pointless. And you think, well, what about dodge rolling? Same thing. So attack, dodge, and it does it at the end of the animation. That's the issue. There's no interrupts. You can't interrupt your current move to do something else. Which, if you can't do that, means that you will... There may as well not be a... like you can't have any kind of parrying, blocking, or dodge rolling if it waits till the end of the animation. You know, maybe, yes, that makes it more realistic or something, or whatever, if that's what we're going for, with realism in a fantasy realm where I've literally just fought a werewolf, but gameplay-wise, that's not what you want, and it's getting me more and more these days, the amount of these hack and slash games that I'm playing, where they literally just are screwing up the fundamentals. Like, interrupts are a massive important part of the game. If you can't do interrupts, then you might as well not have blocking, parrying or dodge rolls as mechanics, because they can't be performed reliably. We've got a mana elixir. We're carrying the max amount. We'll just drink our potion, I guess, and... Oh no, we've got... Okay, we've got the max stack amount that we're allowed to carry whatsoever of those, so... Okay. So I'm hoping to search this area for this stag, which, if I get to it, will give me some rare crafting resources. I can also see over there is a shrine. So I'm going to have a quick check to make sure that it's definitely not up here. Then I think I'll hop down there and see. So, anyway, the other elements to the game then. So, I've already gone on about the combat mechanics, again, the crafting, as you've seen, you upgrade your gear, that's it. You, at the very least, seeing as it is basically a roguelike, at the very least it doesn't force you to have these long animations when you're gathering things. They are quite snappy. Like, I don't have to hit these multiple times or anything. So, we'll jump down here. So, as you can see, when we dodge roll, we lose a little bit of health for falling. But we have got down here. And there's a shrine over that way. We just have to get there. I have found as well sometimes with this stag, it did happen the other night, that it says it's here, and I get here and I think we've explored the entire circle nearly now. If it's not literally in this area, then I have no idea where it could actually be. There it is. So we're not hunting it, we're communing with it. I guess because it's a special holy animal or whatever is the case here. But anyway, we've got that. Oh, is that the... I've not been into the frost biome yet, so that's a new one. I've been to the desert, but not the frost. I think the furthest I've got is to fighting the third boss in the zone. Well, the third giant. We need to get, though, to that shrine so we can fast travel back to base and defend. Also, down there on the beach, I have a blacksmith knocked out. The tree is taking damage. We need to hurry. Inventory is full. We may not make it in time, but again, that's the thing. These fast travel shrines, there can be a very mixed bag, and that is a particularly difficult enemy that's spawned there. Now, you can block certain attacks. When you see them with their glowing eyes and things, it's actually a nice tell that kind of, hey, you should block. So it's actually fairly easy to block those. Looks like you get some special version of the seaweed for going at night. So we can fast travel. The base is being overwhelmed at the moment. So I'm going to very quickly run in, give me souls. That should bump it up with the amount of health it's got left. And we'll grab these as well. Yeah. pretty much after today, we won't be able to leave this at night. We'll have to be back here. I'm a bit annoyed there because I honestly thought I would have got back here in time. Anyway, so the thing we can do here then, we can't quite get that upgraded. We could go for Herser sword, but we do need to repair. This is something as well. You quickly find that your gear runs out of durability. There's also a shared inventory here as well. If you put things in there, other people in the lobby can come and look through. It's good for getting people geared up and sharing resources and things. There is voice chat in the game, there is text chat, but obviously while that's all well and good, it's like it's mostly that chest. The thing I would say is it's quite useful for making sure you don't lose all your stuff when you die, really. But limited. It's mostly, I think, the thing is because you'd have to go back and grab all the stuff that you need each time. I think it's mostly just for organising between teammates. But we will be heading back here. I would like to kill a handful of these enemies to get the they drop yarn in this area, which can be used to get higher tier armors, which is what I'm hoping to get. Though we will need a number of souls to then upgrade the armor smith, if we actually get to that point in the game, which is doubtful to start with. But yeah, as I mentioned, the biggest issue is that, and in fact that's a good point, the you can see on the minimap there's a little arrow pointing to something, and it's got a little skull on it, a little red arrow. It doesn't show you on the map where they are, but somewhere it will point you in the general direction using the arrow. Somewhere there is a big giant moving to the base, and it's now saying that they're close to the village. So what I'm going to do, firstly, I'm going to need to spend my points, my level up points. So, oh, and there's a blood moon as well, wonderful. So we've now got a few points spent. Got a few new abilities, so that'll be quite helpful in this. The bosses, they're quite good. There's a nice bit of variety of them, but I think there's only been 4 or 5 so far I've seen, and I have seen duplicates already. So they're cool. There's a decent bit of variety, but I imagine after multiple playthroughs it quickly becomes, yeah, I've seen this one before. I think there's only a small number of them. Yeah, so this is like a giant witch lady. She'll summon enemies. She's kind of like a giant version of that one we were facing earlier. Those mini bosses we faced. She does these little AoE attacks like that. This actually might be a good enough effort to perhaps oh, gonna have to use my health potions there. Dodge roll out of that. I think she even killed some of her own there. use a health potion. Dodge out of the way of... Nope, didn't quite make it. This might actually be doable. So... But as I mentioned, so the bosses aren't overly difficult. The main issue is just the giant health bars. Because yeah, they have these ginormous health bars. It usually takes 3 or 4 of you just hacking away at them for the entirety of a day, just to be able to really make a dent on those giant health bars. Oh, that'll be useful. There's a shrine there that I can perhaps use. Dodge roll out? No, okay. See, now this is an issue. It's still spawning enemies at the base at night. So, yeah. She's literally there. We've done a nice bit of damage, but... yeah. I will point out as well, I do know that you can build using these, and we will actually... I'll need a few more souls, but the issue is it requires so many materials that really building the walls and the towers, it's a team effort really to get them built. The team that I currently do not have. And right now, if we wanted to kill this boss, we really would need 2 or 3 people on the boss overnight. Oh, my weapon's broken, so now I have to go and repair it. I'm currently using a really bad club that I found on the floor from a chest, I think. You can tell with the damage drop off that we're seeing here. What? Oh, apparently I'm in range of that. Well, that's almost all of my health potions used. Great. But I have to go back to the base because it's under attack and it's probably going to fall any second. Yeah. It's difficult to really get past day 4 and 5 on your own. The Jotuns here, so yeah, the giants here. It's gone. The enemies are just getting tougher and tougher, and the big giant boss is just, yeah. So, the final part of the roguelike sort of trinity mechanics here is the meta progression. So we go up XP, we get the things like that. Now, as you can see there, 4,800, not a massive amount of a reward. You put that, it's a tiny increase on that bar to level up, and that progress is literally, it is, well, yeah, it's not even a single level on the on this battle pass that's here, which I'll just go through the cosmetics in the battle pass here. So I'm actually not, I do not like any of the cosmetics on this game, and there's a very simple reason. So firstly, yeah, I got some for pre-ordering the game slightly before it released, and I've also unlocked them for playing the first few bits of the game. So, but the biggest issues with the game. So like I say, it's the combat's a bit unsatisfying. It needs, at the very least, it needs the ability to interrupt your abilities. I would throw a heavy attack in there and add some combo moves you could do, perhaps. That would probably take it from a bad combat system to a good one. I know I say it as if it's an easy thing to add. It's like, no, I get it that there's lots of animations and you'll have to tween them and do all the transitions between one to the other and so on. I understand that, but if it's in the core of the game, if it's a core mechanic, it should get more attention than that. It shouldn't just suffice. If a shooter releases with bad shooting mechanics, it goes in the bin. The same goes for hack and slash games. This should not have a bad combat system. It should be excellent because it's the core part of the game. You know. Secondly, the matchmaking, as I've pointed out, that was a online game, right? There are currently, we'll refresh it, we can have a look. There are currently 22.3, nearly 22.4 thousand in game. It's gone up. There's more people playing now. Like, there's people posting on here trying to organise games. That's where it's come down to, right? And I will point out as well, when it launched last night, there were server problems for an hour or two. They'd not bought enough servers, so it filled up and you couldn't even launch the title because it's always online, so that it can add your progress to the battle pass, which is so it was broken on launch for the first hour, right? This matchmaking, why? It's a co-op game, right? And it should, I'll tell you now, right? The two main problems with this is the matchmaking goes, is there a match we can immediately join? No. We'll start a solo lobby. No. If I wanted a solo lobby, I would have queued for I would have started a solo lobby, right? If I want to play solo, I will click the play solo game. Don't start a solo game. Get me in a matchmaking game, right? It's that simple. It's really simple. If I want to play online, put me in an online game. If I want to play solo, I'll press the damn solo button. Right? Don't put me in a lobby by myself unless there's literally no one else to play with. And secondly, it doesn't seem to support joining in mid-game. It doesn't support it. You know, you can leave mid-game and you can come back to that same game, but you can't join another game that's already started. You'd have to join a new one from fresh. Why? Don't know. All the mechanics are there to support the idea of people joining midway through into a world, because there's the shared chest. You could grab people's old gear that's in there. The game would already perfectly support this from a balance perspective. Why doesn't it allow you to? I have no idea. This matchmaking system, very simply, should be replaced with a lobby system and just a join lobby screen. Right? I should press this button here and it should bring up a big box with a bunch of different lobby names that people have created, how many players are there, what day they're on, and I should be able to just join one. Yeah? It should join me into the game and, I don't know, maybe give me like a skill point for my character for every 2 days that have passed or something. Yeah? Something simple like that would completely alleviate all of the issues around the online matchmaking with this. Yeah, it's not done. God knows why. Why has it released this? I have no idea. Right? That just seems short-sighted to me. This is, if I were playtesting this, that would seem absolutely obvious to me how they should have done the matchmaking there. Right? And lastly is the meta progression. You know, it's a roguelike. It's got meta progression. Why is the meta progression a battle pass? Why? It just does not suit this type of title. And I will say the biggest problem with battle passes now, it's not something you have to buy, thank God, this is free. But you know, there are microtransactions with these platinum coins, which get you custom skins, and we'll get into that next. But the battle pass, it's like, why is this here? Why does this exist? It doesn't need one. You know, it's like, oh, it's to help with player retention. No, just have a progression system that you've just got in the game. You level up as you go, and it unlocks you new things. It doesn't need seasons and battle passes. Christ, no. It's not a big enough game with enough of a player base, I think, to kind of facilitate this. And the worst thing with battle passes is when all of this battle pass is done, all of these items will be locked then behind this battle pass that you can't access anymore. They'll just be locked. Yeah, they'll be sealed away, and the next battle pass rolled out. A lot of them are stupid. You know, lots of currency there because they couldn't put anything else in. But some of them, like, again, some of them are just ridiculous. Like, oh, purple hair dye, because as we know, lots of purple-haired Vikings back in the day. But some are important. Like here, we've got one, Fenrir's Claws. You can see on the character there, some cool gloves. They are not a cosmetic, they are an equipment recipe. That means, once you've unlocked these, they are an item in the game that you can create that has stats that will be useful to you, right? This is an actual in-game item that you cannot make unless you get this recipe from here, right? Same with these runes. You can't find these runes or craft them without these recipes. Same with this sword here. I was actually wanting this sword the other day. I looked at the swords and I was thinking, right, which one of these swords can be fully upgraded from level 1 up to the epic tier and the legendary tier? The serpent tongue can be. I'll focus on making a serpent's tongue then. I made the green one, I made the blue one, I got the ingredients to make the purple one, I went to it, I upgraded the station, and then it said unlocked via battle pass. Yeah, that's great to find out midway through the game that I've been grinding towards a piece of gear that I can't actually use. We're lost then. It's ridiculous. Why is this here? You know. And you shouldn't unlock them, you know, green, blue, then the purple one. Then no, you should just unlock that weapon set, and all of them should just be thrown into the game. Then you shouldn't have a moment in the game where you're looking at items that are locked, that you can't use. They shouldn't even appear on me crafting screen, right? Then again, there's portraits and things. Why do I need a portrait? No one even looks at that. No one cares. And yeah, equipment recipes again, and starter kits, and more gear that again you can't craft unless you get to. It's completely ridiculous. It has this really heavy shoehorned in feel to it. It's completely foreign and strange to be in this type of game whatsoever. It's absolutely bizarre. Who the hell thought this? I hope that this and all of the microtransactions was a corporate publisher decision from well, that's the other thing. It is by Gearbox, this game. It's published by Gearbox. It wouldn't surprise me if this was on the publishers. They are known for being a bit scummy when it comes to money at Gearbox, as are most large publishers. But yeah, in particular, they've created this. They've put this battle pass in. If this was the developers, then Jesus Christ, this is complete incompetence. Again, that's what would lead me to assume that it was, and again, especially it being Gearbox who are publishing this, it does strike me as a Gearbox decision. The microtransactions, before we call it, Yeah, so the microtransactions are absolutely just why? Why are these here? Some are bought with in-game golden horns, which are rare drops from enemies. I've got 7 currently. You get some from that battle pass, you get some from completing like challenges and things. But yeah, some can be obtained via that. But then we have these microtransaction cosmetics. So first of all, yes, there's microtransactions. Second of all, what the hell are these? They look absolutely... If you thought having a, black-skinned, purple-haired Viking, who is definitely historically accurate, was bad enough, then try the rainbow-coloured sword that does not look like a sword, it looks like something else, to be honest, that. Uh, and the teddy bear helmet, God knows why. It's like you're playing Fortnite. And this is where I get with the cosmetics. These cosmetics go on instead of your armor. So, you know that really cool mechanic in the game where it actually shows the armor that you have equipped? And as you get better gear, it actually shows that on your character. Yeah, you know how it does that? If you have these equipped, it will replace it with... It'll just replace it with the cosmetic stuff. Same with the weapons. If I equip any axe, it will replace it with this golden weird one. Right, it's like, no, I want to get the cool golden one when I earn it. When I go through the game and I beat all the enemies, I get the green uncommon one, then move up to the rare one, then the epic, and then I get the legendary, and then finally I'm holding this giant flaming axe, The cosmetics actually take away from the game, you know. They're actually worse than just wearing the base gear, because I actually like it when I can see the gear I've equipped on my character. I actually prefer that. So it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that it does that. I don't know. But yeah, this game, it's not expensive. In fact, if we go here, I can go to the store page. I think it's about 18 quid. Your regional equivalent. Will it even show me? Yeah, 15 quid. Cheaper than I thought even. 15 quid, your regional equivalent. I think in American that'll be closer to $20-ish. Something along those lines. It's, again, there's a diamond in the rough, but there's a lot of rough. The core of the game is cracked. The core of the game being the hack and slash gameplay and the survival elements. It's just, yeah, I'm sorry, but the fact that the hack and slash gameplay is subpar. The survival elements, I mean, you can't like stop and come back and do that sort of thing. It's kind of like, no, you're screwed. I think you could if you were in a group with friends, because it does say save and quit when you leave a lobby. Maybe you can come back to it later, but I don't know what the hell happens if you're in a game that you're hosting online with randomers. I have no idea. And again, it doesn't support joining at the start of the game, so... Well, I mean, it doesn't support joining after the beginning of the game, so... Yeah, good luck if you're trying to resume a game that you've left at some point. So it seems to be... And again, I've mentioned this, when you're doing a roguelike, the amount of time that it can take to go through a playthrough is directly proportional to the rewards you earn. But also, in this case, because it's a multiplayer, you have to keep in mind you're asking up to 10 people to play the game for. I'm guessing based on how far I got and how long that took, because I think it must have been... Let's see, third boss was... It's a decent bit through the game. We'd started crafting purple gear. There's only legendary after that, so I imagine that that's probably 2/3 of the way through the game. There were only the frost area to go to, I think, then. So, I do think that, put simply, at that point of the game, yeah, it really is a case of you are looking at probably a 3 hour long game. You're asking 10 people to commit to a 3 hour game. There needs to be a way of like pausing this and coming back to it after a while. Like, okay guys, let's call it here and come back tomorrow. There needs to be a way of doing that. It seems that unless you have 9 other friends to play with you, this is not worth buying. Keep an eye on it. If they fix the matchmaking, maybe. And again, God knows why this exists. Heaven only knows why this is here. The battle pass in this type of game. It's what? It's just so bizarre. I mean, it'd be like putting a battle pass in a racing game where you unlock new cars and like helmets for your driver or something. It'd be so out of place. That's kind of what it feels like here. It's just completely out of place and weird and random. I have no idea what they'll think. Really have. Anyway, I think that's just about everything. I think I mentioned most of the problems, like issues with weapon durability, balance, and just problems like that. It's the game. It's that with the issues fixed, it might be alright, but until then, I don't see this going anywhere. This seems like in its current state, I honestly think that the player base for this will drop like a ton of bricks unless they can replace or fix this matchmaking method. And then, I mean, I'd be surprised if there's 20,000 playing it next week. I think it'll drop to about 2,000. I think by the end of the month it'll be a dead game. It's got about 60% on Steam. I would agree with that. I would say it's about a 6 out of 10. It's a subpar sort of meh game. But if it's your sort of thing and you have 9 friends, feel free to give it a try. Though your mileage may vary. Either way though, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.